Hey, we have been jamming for several hours. Thank you, my dear. So many insights today. Remember, bias for action. So I've got my last presenter of the day, and at the very end, I've got a big surprise for you, a big announcement. So, I've known this guy for a long time. I know the founder of the company. I know his son. They are friends of mine. I can proudly say that David Childers has become a dear friend, a confidant. He and the guys that founded KCM are people that I just text with all the time to say, I need to understand the zeitgeist. I need to understand the numbers. I don't think there are many people that I know that provide more value to the industry than the gentleman that is up next. He is the CEO of Keeping Current Matters, a great friend of mine, Mr. David Childers. So Hector, let's bring David to full screen. This is our last presentation of the day. Hard to argue this isn't one of the most important ones. David, there is so much confusion in the marketplace. I spoke today to about 1,000 agents in Toronto, and we're talking about the same issues there, interest rates. We're talking about the same thing here in the US, interest rates. And I know you're going to shed a tremendous amount of insight, but just in advance, man, God bless you. Thank you. Take it away. And I will be back with a big announcement at the very end, my friends.
Love it. Thank you so much, Tom. Thank you. And, listen, thank you for the introduction and the feelings mutual. We love you and the entire ecosystem of Tom Ferry coaches and coaching members, and have been extremely blessed and love just getting a chance to spend time together. So we're going to do that. I literally just came out of a meeting with our team where we were talking about what are the hottest topics right now. And I'm going to move fast. It's 12 minutes after the hour. I've got about 25-30 minutes before Tom comes back, and you're going to want to hang for that. Because he's going to talk about something that I know a little bit about, and I'm super, super excited for. But I'm going to cover some headlines that are out there, right? You remember the old headlines do more to terrify than they do to clarify. I'm going to clarify some things for you. Second, I'm going to hit mortgage rates. Big question right now. I'm going to bring in some information. Obviously, inflation CPI came out last week and sort of altered the course we were on, but I'm going to talk about that and give you the perspective that I believe you need. We're going to talk about prices. Big topic. We're going to move fast through this. And then my commitment, what Tom asked me to do, was to give you the 5 slides that you need to have in your back pocket on your phone for conversations in the month of March. Coming up to be the educator, the knowledge broker out in the market, so that you can clarify what is going on. And Tom said it absolutely right. There's a lot of confusion in the market right now. So let me share my screen. And what I'm going to do is I am going to start off with some headlines that have been out there, and we'll start with the topic of foreclosures. It seems to come up. It's probably one of the topics and questions that I get a lot of times. We get at Keeping Current Matters of, do we see a market correction? Do we see the market shifting right now with anything? And there have been some things that came out that you need to be aware of. Let's start right here. I'll share these slides, take pictures of them, share them out there, tag Keeping Current Matters. Tag Tom, tag all the folks that you know that need to know about this. ATTOM, the leading curator of land, property, and real estate data, released its year-end 2023 foreclosure market report, which shows foreclosure filings, default notices, auctions, all that. Reported just over 357,000. See the dark text there in 2023. That's up 10% from 2022, up 136% from 2021. But down 28% from 2019, the last normal year in real estate. It's important to understand this and know this, because that spurred some headlines and spurred some things that have said foreclosures are up over last year. Foreclosures are double what they were the year before. Well, what do we need to know? Foreclosure activities increased, but again, if you follow Keeping Current Matters, you know this slide. Nowhere near what we saw back certainly during the great financial crisis, nowhere near what we were even seeing prior to 2019. And oh, by the way, there were the 2 years that oftentimes things are compared to. There was a moratorium on foreclosures. Having that at the tip of your tongue, being able to articulate it, is critically important. Nobody wants to, step into a market to buy a home if they're confused or saw a headline and say, well, let's kind of see how this sort of unfolds. But there are many, many reasons, and I'll remind you of a couple of things. Pat Lencioni, who maybe many of you know, great consultant, great author out there, written many, many books. He always says this: people need to be reminded more than they need to be taught or convinced. They need to be reminded. A couple reminders for you. One, we're still in an extreme seller's market. You know that, but this is a graphic and a visual and something you can post to remind people that you're working with that that's the case, right? There's not an oversupply of homes. If we go back to what we talked about with the foreclosure information that came out from ATTOM, there's an undersupply of homes across the country. You go into any market across this great land of ours, and there's not a market where people are saying, yeah, we have plenty of inventory right now. We have plenty of available homes for the number of people that want to buy them, right? So that bodes well in upward pressure for prices, not extreme price appreciation. I'll talk about that here in just a minute. But it certainly doesn't bode for a market like we saw in the past. Third thing, and I'll just remind you of this, if you've forgotten about this, Americans are sitting on a tremendous amount of equity. Remind yourself of that. Almost 60, a little over 67% of folks either have their mortgage paid off or they have at least 50% equity. Quick reminders for you as we get started right now. And if maybe you're like, well, David, I knew that. Okay, here's my question. Do you have that right now on your phone? Are you able to show someone quickly at an open house, in a conversation, whatever the case is, these are the facts right now in the market? And here's why. I love this statement. Tom mentioned Steve Harney, the founder of KCM, says this: most agents know what's happening. Good agents understand what's happening, but great agents can explain what's happening in this market. And oh, by the way, this is a market that people want to know that you understand what's going on. You understand what's happening. One of the biggest things that came out, if we kind of rewind back to last week and even back to last month, we were on here, so many agents watching live and watching the recording of the webinar we did. And we talked about it being the year of the fives, in transactions and where we'll be in mortgage rates and ultimately home price appreciation. And I want to address mortgage rates right now because last week, the CPI, the measure of inflation, came out a slight bit higher than what was expected and sort of turned the bond market on its head. And we've seen a rise in the 30-year fixed mortgage rate. Everybody knows that out there. We still look at the projections towards the end of the year and believe we will be in the second half. Probably it gets harder now, but be in that sub 6 30-year fixed. And let me kind of break it down for you, give you a couple of visuals to show people. And we're going to keep these updated at Keeping Current Matters. If you're not a member, I would highly encourage you to go to trykcm.com/Tom Ferry, become a member so that you can get these slides and have the information. Most of us on the call will probably spend more money on dinner tonight than what you could be, educated for the month using some graphics. So let's look at mortgage rates going back to September of last year. And we know rates peaked around the end of October, beginning of November, and kind of had this downward slide, which was a good thing, to the beginning of the year, and then kind of went, straight across, and then, popped up even to, I went and looked at rates this morning, right at 7.2% is an average right now. Certainly where you're at, maybe quoting higher or lower, whatever the case is. But we know we've had this bump right here. So how do I then explain that? Let me give you maybe some perspective on that, of what experts are saying right now. And I believe this will help, and not that you want to try to take somebody through a course on mortgage rates right now, but maybe it gives you the confidence to say, let me share a couple of things with you. And I'll do it here through a couple of quotes, and then I'll give you some projections. Mark Fleming said this: a primary driver of the increase in the yield over 2023 was inflation expectations. So the higher the current rate of inflation, more importantly, the higher of expected future rates of inflation, the higher the yield on the 10-year as investors demand to be compensated for that inflation risk in the future. So when CPI comes out a little bit higher, investors are like, maybe we're not out of the woods. Let's pump the brakes on this thing. And it sends the market into what we saw. And certainly we believe, and what we've seen is inflation has come down over the last year. We can agree that, right? Inflation is always the enemy of long-term interest rates. Remember that line. If you're writing things down right now, write that down. Inflation is always the enemy of long-term mortgage rates. That's what we're talking about. So let's keep on this track. So what's the perspective coming out of last week? And I pulled this quote that I think gives us a good perspective that we can even share. You can share it on social media today. It says this: CPI was, as reported today, that was last week, just a touch hotter than expectations and proof positive that we're not on a linear path, meaning we're just going straight down, but we're on a path headed lower. That is key. Now, they're talking about inflation there, not mortgage rates, but I do believe it's true about mortgage rates. We're on a path headed lower relative to inflation. Not a straight path, but a path nonetheless headed lower. Mark Fleming said this again: there's reason to believe that the rate lock-in, that's people with a lower rate that are locked in, will ease modestly this year as mortgage rates come down. And could you only imagine if they got below 6? Then even more people would be again in the money. Homeowners will be less anchored to that low rate that they got a few years ago. So no doubt, as we look ahead, we see inflation coming down. We have this little bump. We get to 6, people are in the money. And even Doug Duncan, I'll give you a forecast here in just a minute. He says, we anticipate that after the past several years of extreme volatility, the interest rates, 30-year fixed mortgage rate will continue to moderate over the course of 2024, moving towards a rate below 6% by the end of the year. So I want to keep you focused on that. Probably this past week sort of pushes that off a little bit, but still folks saying by the end of the year, we will be there. And again, I always make the point, might be 5.99, but psychologically for people, when that happens, people are coming back into the market. And oh, by the way, look at projections. Where were projections at in December of last year as compared to January this year? And you see it right there. 6% there in the third quarter, just under 6% in the fourth quarter, and heading in that direction. We're going to stay on top of it as Keeping Current Matters. We're going to give you the visuals. We're going to give you the information you need to give a great explanation of this to the folks that you serve. So let's talk about home prices for a second, because I believe there's a narrative there that's out in the market that we need to be aware of so that we can confidently guide clients forward. Then I'm going to give you the 5 slides you need. Tom's going to come back up and we're going to wrap this up. First one, narrative that we must combat, no doubt. As of the end of the year, 24% of Americans, let's look over the last year, believe that home prices will go down over the next 12 months. So you go out tonight, you have 4 people there with you, total group of 5. One of those people that you're with believes that home prices will go down. Maybe your neighbors, next door neighbors across the street, one of them believes that home prices are going to go down. We need to do a good job of talking about what exactly is happening with home prices. And even as an idea and a way to think about this, there's a Seth Godin quote that says, people don't believe what you tell them. They always believe what they tell themselves. So if I see a headline or I see some information that leads me to believe that, then I tell myself that. I tell myself home prices are going down. So we need to do an even better job of getting information out into the market. So how do we understand that? How do we bring facts to the market? Well, the first thing that I think is important about this is understanding how prices normally flow in real estate. And this is a look from Case Shiller over the last 49 years. And in just a minute, I'm going to add the 50th year in, which is last year. This is what a normal year looks like in price appreciation. So a little bit of appreciation, January, February, hopping up to sort of a peak in May, and then sort of tailing off. Last 50 years, that is the average home price appreciation each year going all the way back. Well, if we think about the market that we've been in and the market that we're in right now, where do we stand? And this is same home sales, which runs in arrears. I'll give you the most recent information. This is a look right here, non-seasonally average from Case-Shiller. A little bit of depreciation in January, made it through that, overperformed the 50-year average throughout, kind of the spring and early summer, sort of matching the average coming into November, slight bit of depreciation in November. Maybe you saw that, but it helps you understand it. It helps you sort of see that and say, what does that mean? Well, certainly doesn't mean homes are going down in value. The cumulative appreciation in 2023 will be overwhelmingly positive, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. And this is going to be one of the slides that you're going to want to have at your fingertips, or you're building content, or you're using it in something that you have on your phone, like I mentioned. But in no way are homes losing value there. And even if you look at Case-Shiller compared to FHFA, you see sort of this same look right here. You see the same look of positive price appreciation. And oftentimes what comes up in these conversations is, well, you don't understand exactly what is happening where I'm at. And I hear you in that. You don't understand what's happening in the city that I'm in. Well, Case-Shiller just produced the top 20 markets of home price appreciation. You see it across the country, the national average right there in the upper right-hand corner, 5.1%. One city, Portland, they're seeing less than 1% depreciation, maybe a flat market in Portland. But other markets, overwhelmingly, San Diego, San Francisco, a market that we talked a lot about, Seattle, positive price appreciation. You see the rest on the left too. A lot of markets seeing healthy appreciation in 2023. We did so many different things, podcasts and things like that at the end of 2022, where so many people were saying, prices are going to go down over the next 12 months, not proving out. So I'll give you the update of what folks say is coming ahead, and then we're going to jump into the 5 slides that you must have on your phone this year. So what are folks saying coming ahead right here? 2024 home price forecast. This is a look at those that forecast that we follow here at Keeping Current Matters. 8 of them average 2.7% home price appreciation in 2024. I think it'll be higher. We stay on top of this and update it each time. It's even been updated since we were together in January. And Realtor.com right here has not updated their forecast. My guess is when they do, it'll be green as well. But all of these forecasters have one thing in common right now. And it's this. It's that their current home price forecast is significantly, in most cases, up from their original forecast. So if you see this right here, from Goldman Sachs down to NAR, original forecast, current forecast, in every one of those, they've gotten more optimistic on this market. Expect as we go, I think even in the next few months going to the spring market, I think you can expect people to be more optimistic on home prices going forward. And yet, let's sort of anchor where we started. 1 in 4 still believe the prices will depreciate. This is a topic that I will guarantee you, if you're talking about it, if you're posting information, educational content about it, people will be talking about it. Okay. Let's give you the slides, and we'll have Tom up probably in a little over 5 minutes to wrap this thing up. I'm moving fast. I want to give you everything that you need right now for this market. The 5 slides that I believe you need to have on your phone in the upcoming month. And having them on your phone to help explain things, to help cover what's happening, help explain this market. I'm going to run through these pretty quick. I've covered a couple of them. And I'm going to give you what I believe is the key to moving forward. First one, the reality here where we sit of inventory being historically low. This is a look the same week in 2023, same week in 2019. Okay. So we're up slightly over last year, but down significantly since 2019. Why is this important? Anybody that we sit down with that's thinking about selling their home, when do you ever want to sell something? When there are fewer of that item on the market. We want to be able to articulate that and give them that so they understand it. Picture's worth 1,000 words, right? And so being able to show them that is key. Second one, I already used this. Foreclosure activity has increased, but it's well below what we've seen over the past several years. Okay, but certainly not the COVID years, the unicorn years that we've called them, but the years prior to that, the last normal years, well below that. People need to understand that. Final 2023 home price appreciation. This is an encouraging one for many people that may think, gosh, I felt like homes maybe lost value last year. Nope, not true. Depending on Zillow, CoreLogic, Black Knight, Freddie Mac, you see a home price appreciation for this past year. And then looking ahead, the one that I just used, we see positive home price appreciation for the coming year. Absolutely in that, a lot of reasons for it. The primary reason for that is an improving mortgage market and limited supply, truthfully. That will always keep the upward pressure on prices across this country. This one right here, mortgage rate projections. Let's get the word out there. Let's talk to people about that. We should broadcast as we go through these next several months in this volatile market as we see improvements. And again, the 30-year fixed mortgage rate has improved if we look back in the rearview mirror since November. We should be talking about what's happening there. I've given you the very real-time perspective relative to inflation, and I think it's key that we bring it up. So I'll give you this last slide, and then I'm going to turn it back over to Tom to get ready to go. And I want to leave you with this. I oftentimes will find quotes, and found this one. It was used on our deep dive. Steve Harney, the founder of KCM, did it a couple weeks ago on the deep dive, and I thought that is absolutely true for where we are. It's from Winston Churchill, and back in the 40s, he was at Harvard University. He made a very, very famous speech, and certainly as a great orator did that. But this quote remained, and he said this: "The price of greatness is responsibility." And if you've been on here for the last, several folks, and I caught what Coach Emily did, and you've gotten all this great information, the price of greatness is responsibility now. It's what am I going to be responsible for? What am I going to be the owner for? What am I going to be accountable for? That's on me. And I want to leave you with that. My hope, my dear hope, is that you will use all of this information, all of these slides, to be the knowledge broker out in your market to deliver the truth about what's happening when I would say a spring market we're heading into where there's a lot of confusion. Tom, I'll turn it back over to you.
David, as always, so grateful for you and for the team. You know, a lot of people don't always like the facts, but as you and I have said, and Steve has said 1,000 times, give people the facts and trust that they will make the right decision.
Absolutely.
Right? The facts are the facts, the numbers are the numbers, the predictions are the predictions. The key for us is always, like Emily was talking about it is a part of our brand. It is a part of the ethos of how we operate. So forever grateful for you. I will see you soon, my friend. I'm going to take 5 minutes and wrap up with everybody, but thank you always for your participation. Make sure you all go to trykcm.com/Tom Ferry. And if you're not a subscriber, my goodness, after hearing all that, subscribe today. You will have an unlimited amount of content to share with your customers. All right, David, thank you. So
thank you, buddy.
As we wrap, Hector's got a couple slides for me, and I'll make my little announcement. But I do want to remind you that what has to happen in order for you to front load all your listing attraction? That really is the central theme that I want to come back to. What has to happen in order for you to front load all the things you learned today to get into massive action? I love this quote. It is the funniest meme that has been sent to me recently. This really should say this year, tens of thousands of real estate agents will die from stubbornness. And you're like, no, we won't. Some of you will get that. Hector, matter of fact, open up the chat just for fun, just to see how everybody's doing out there, and then make it available so people can chat, turn it on. But I want to remind you all, for things to change, like things have to change, right? We all know the story of the beautiful little caterpillar who climbs up into a tree and, creates this cocoon around itself, and then ultimately, buries itself in this cocoon and transforms into the beautiful butterfly. For things to change, my friends, things have to change. So Hector, kill the slide so I can tell them what's up, and then we can give everybody the big news. And then if you want to, you can send us an email. So first of all, Hector, put up the 800 number as a reminder. My team said we got blown up with phone calls. We are obviously gracious, like grateful, gracious, gratitude, the word I'm looking for, that so many people rang. If you need to call our office, there's the number. Call the office today. If you know you need guardrails, if you know you need me in your corner, right? It's kind of a no-brainer. Call and just say, what is this crazy offer? I am committed. Now, I just saw my buddy Ann Shumba, who I'm going to see in a couple of days, I assume in Orlando. So check this out. I sat down with some of the smartest people I know in real estate, and we're really struggling. We're in this mastermind, and basically here was the conversation. Like, what can we do? What can we do? Like, I'm looking at, Crystal over here on my team. Crystal, there is somewhere between 5 and 7 million buyers that want to buy a house today that there just simply is no inventory for, right? That it is arguably, there's a lot of challenges in our marketplace, but I think it's safe to say for all of us, the single biggest challenge that we face is more demand than we have opportunity. So I'm sitting in the middle of this mastermind, and I literally wrote down, I'm going to create something crazy. I'm going to put my butt on the line, and I'm going to help a large number of people for free, FREE free. But they have to commit to something, and they have to qualify. So I want to explain, and this is my crazy announcement. So I'm giving you sort of first opportunity. All my coaching clients, you automatically qualify. So if you're watching, Paula Clark, I just saw you, you automatically qualify. You're in. Everybody else, you have to understand, I have close to 600,000 real estate agents in my database, right? That, we're sending information to, inviting you to this stuff. They're clients, they're people that attend our events, 600,000. I'm going to invite a fraction of the people in my database to come join us. And I want to explain basically what it is. I'm calling it the listing challenge. The listing challenge, let me explain. I'm going to give you an email in a minute. If you're interested in this, you can email us and see if you qualify. But here's my crazy ambition. Could I take a fraction of the people in my database and generate an additional 1 million listings from all of these agents, right? From 1 million listings from all these agents by providing once a month the most important marketing piece that they can send out, by giving you, like Jimmy talked to you about today, layers of lasagna. Here's the email. Here's the direct mail piece. Here's the social post. Here's what I want you to do from a calling standpoint. And literally once a month, with call it, we don't know the final number. We think maybe it's 50,000 agents, maybe it's 100,000 agents. It's really going to depend upon people that are committed, right? Because I've got 600,000 people and everyone's going to say yes because it's free. But understand this, what you're committing to if you choose to send me an email is that starting in June, July, because that's when we're going to begin, that once a month, you're going to show up for 30 minutes. And there'll be 50 to 100,000 people on a Zoom meeting. And if you don't show up, you don't get the information. Like, it's like, you gotta commit. You gotta not be interested. You gotta be committed. So once a month, 30 minutes, here's the best campaign. Here's the strategy. Here's the mindset behind it. Send this, do this, etc. But you got to track and measure the results. You got to let us know, because I'm literally partnering with one of the biggest title companies in the US who said, we will, because we have all the data, track the agents that are participating and know, did we get them 10 or 20 more listings? So we know, did we realize the goal? Because if you don't track and measure, you don't know. And that's not how I roll. Like, if I'm going to give this much to a fragment of the agents, around the world, like, I'm expecting tracking and measuring and doing the work. So if you are one of those kind of people and you want to be Well, let me just say, see if you qualify. Remember, all coaching clients, you're already in, it's automatic. Here's the email address. Ready? Hector, I think I actually have a slide for it. Can you put it up there? Just so I don't screw it up so people get it, right? The email is TLC. There it is, TLC at tomferry.com to apply to participate in what we're calling the listing challenge. TLC at tomferry.com. Now, you're going to send us an email. You're not going to get an autoresponder. So Leah just said, good for a new agent. Well, Leah, yes, if you're willing to do the work, right? If you're not willing to do the work, then no. Leah, if you don't have a database in your phone of, say, 250 or more people, your challenge, if you qualify, is between now and then to begin to cultivate 250 plus relationships. The average of the people that will participate will have about 1,000 people in their database. That's clients, that's sphere of influence, that is, prospects and leads and people they met over time. You've got to have, yes, Paula Clark, you are all in, all coaching clients taking like the first 15,000 spots. So here's the thing. You got to have a reasonable amount of people to market to, because if it's too small, like lovingly, we're going to say to you, Leah, no, we're sorry, right? What's up, Jeremy? I just suddenly see you there on video. So here's the thing. If you want to participate in this, we're going to launch it in June, July. You need to email my office. This is not a guarantee that you are in. All coaching clients guarantee that you're in. So you have my 800 number. If you know you want to be a part of us, if you want to be a part of this incredible group, you want to be the kind of person that can sell an extra 20 or 30 or 40 homes a year and really build a business that is sustainable, that is real, then you should call my office. And if you're already an amazing agent and you know you want to be a part of this, yes, this is the challenge I was talking about at the Dallas Roadmap, but I did not give you any details yet. So all you have to do is email that, TLC at tomferry.com. Now, Hector, just go full screen on me. Hopefully they got that. Yes. So Dottie, again, call my office. I'm seeing you called and you're waiting for a call back. Your best to call. It's going to be busy all day today. We had thousands and thousands of people here, and thank you. I sincerely hope you become a client. You become part of our community, our ecosystem. We promise we will serve you at a high level. So as I wrap, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for being a professional. Thank you for being the kind of person that is going to do the thing that gives you the power. You're going to take these ideas, you're going to run, you're going to implement. You have that bias towards action because that's what it's going to take. And remember, 2024 is the year of focus. We're going to do the thing that gives us the power. We're going to do the work in front of us, regardless of what's going on around us. No distractions. We are focused. You do that, 2024 is going to be a bananas year. God bless you guys. Thank you. And I'll look forward to seeing you at a live event or on another Zoom meeting soon. Until then, your strategy matters. And now more than ever, your passion and enthusiasm. That's what rules. God bless you guys. I'll see you all soon. Thanks for joining us.